our hummingbird takes us off the deep end every week here at the CCA workbench. And Dave, we don't
Yes.
have to go off the deep end to catch a big snook.
No, you can stay in the shallow end, but I like to go off the deep end. But
All right, so before we get started, what kind of rod and reel are we going to take?
well, that same R 55 is really good. Something that'll hold 20-pound, 30-pound braid. You want braid because you can make long casts, and it won't break usually. A 60 to 40-pound monofilament leader, depending on the size fish you're going to catch. Now, there's places where I go fishing for snook, or used to when I was a younger fella, around Sebastian Inlet and whatnot. When you're inlet fishing around bridges, we would use Penn Senators.
Big, heavy stuff.
Big, heavy stuff, spooled with 100-pound monofilament, and use a whole croaker for bait because you're catching a 30-pound fish in a current that's ripping,
That was back when you took horse and buggy to the inlet, right?
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I guess.
All right, so what are we going to use when we get there?
Well, a snook is an ambush predator, and he's looking for, usually a white bait of some sort, a herring, a pilchard, a mullet. If you want to catch a really big snook, your best bet is a big mullet on a circle hook. And some of the canals around West Palm and back up in Lauderdale and those residential canals, a big honking mullet, one of the biggest mullets you can catch, you put a big circle hook in there and let him sit out there all night. And before too long, and I guarantee in a week or so, you'll catch one that'll just scare you.
I know.
Because I've seen some that look like tarpon back in there. I mean, just monsters. And
Well, you know what else? And that's a great point. The other thing that happens when you're using, as you say, the honkin' mullet,
Yes.
is you eliminate that 15, that 18-pound
Right.
fish from biting.
Right.
That's how you catch a fish in the 25, the 30-pound range.
Even bigger, yeah.
Having a bait that the 18-pounder can't eat. Agreed?
It's not like a trout. A little trout will eat a huge bait. A big snook will eat a small bait, but a great big snook wants a big bait, and a little snook won't try to eat a mullet that's as big as he is.
Now, what if you're an artificial guy? What are we going to
Well,
use?
that's what I like to use. I'm a big fan of, obviously, the topwater plug, any kind of topwater, skitter walks or the chug bugs. If you catch 10 to my 1 and I catch mine on a topwater plug, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Because I like to see them eat.
That's
I'd
your thing.
rather watch them eat than anything. And a big shrimp, imitation is a good bait. Any of the mirror lures are great for, there's some mirror lures down there. A miradine, when the fish are up schooling and eating little white baits, you can't hardly beat those either.
You got to remember too, Dave, that if shrimp are in the inlet, then you're going to use shrimp.
Right.
If your bait fish are in the inlet,
Right.
we're going to use something that's
snook,
a bait fish.
A snook is a lot like just about every other predator. They eat the most of whatever is around at the time. If the shrimp are on a big run, they're eating the shrimp. If the mullet are running, they're going to eat a mullet. So you want to try to get back to what's matching the hatch.
Right.
Like they say. The first snook I ever caught, I caught on that jig right there
On a
white
hook-up bucktail.
white hook-up bucktail jig. It was the first snook I ever caught in Fort Pierce. It was a long time ago.
Now, some of the new stuff that's come out, Dave, I think you'll agree, is now we're actually making plastics that silhouette that
They look
finger
like a lure.
mullet.
They look like a lure, a hard bodied lure, and they have a nice fat profile.
Right.
And it triggers a bite. Especially at night. Snook are very, very active at night. We talk a lot about fishing for them in the daytime. They're really serious guys. The really serious snook fishermen do all their fishing at night. And once you do catch them, you want to make sure you treat them right. A boger grip is a good way to handle a fish outside the boat. You don't even have to pull them out of the water if you don't want to. To take a quick picture while the fish is in the water is even better than pulling it out. I don't like to pull fish out of the water unless I'm going to kill them. If I'm going to take them to eat. So I usually let all my fish go while they're still in the water. And use a net. Use a net. A lot of guys in saltwater don't use a net. And a good fish safe net like this one that's made out of rubber and doesn't catch your hooks. It's easy on the fish. It supports all his body weight, which is very important when you have a big snook or something. So
Good job.
Use
over
use
here.
a net to land your fish.